Well, I'm joined by Amanda Rassi, who's head of brand building at Kroger. Amanda, thanks very much indeed for joining us. You just finished your panel. You can take a little bit of a breather. I'd like to just discuss with you this whole sort of relationship between things that are done online and things that are done physically. Now, Kroger operates in both.
Yep.
What's the future of both, and what's the future of the combination of the two?
Yeah, so I think the future is very much the combination of the two. So if I think of the space we're in, which is very much about food, and thinking about all the different food needs that one of our customers might have, sometimes that's best fulfilled by, order it on my phone and have it show up in 30 minutes at my house. Sometimes you actually want to go to a physical place where you can sample or talk to someone about the cut of meat that you just got and how to prepare that maybe in a new way. So I think it's really about thinking of it the way that human beings think about it, which is in a much more connected way, and giving people a chance to sort of meet their need in whatever way they want to have it met today, which could be different in an hour, it could be different tomorrow. And so what we're really trying to do is figure out sort of that set of needs that people have and then serve up however they best want that done. One important connector I think that exists as well is all the data. That everybody has these days. It's not just us, but even if I think about food is incredibly personal. And so what the best of food is to you is different than sort of what the best food experience would be for me. And so how can we actually get to know people on more of a one-to-one level so we can serve up what the right experience is for you today in the moment that you need, which might be a quick dinner for your family delivered to your house in 30 minutes. On a Sunday afternoon, it might be you want to go and browse in the store and explore something new. And we need to really figure out what the right thing is and how to serve it up in the right moment.
Now, retailing inevitably over the years has been a very instinctive sort of thing. So how do instinctive retailers start now to cope with this vast amount of data and combining the instinct with the analysis and the data?
Yeah, it's a massive shift. And as someone who, I was on the CPG side and now have come into retail in the last several years, there is a lot of instinct, right? Guys who have run stores for a long time and have not just it's like that informed gut, like there's data behind it, even if they don't talk about it as data. But now we do have a lot more data and we need to make sense of it. And then we need to be able to integrate that where the strategy and the data can come together. But it is a rewiring as you think about what do you measure? Probably the KPIs or the scorecard, whatever you want to call it, of the future is different than what it was even 5 years ago. The way we think about managing categories, the way you think about the ability to curate, a balance we have, I work in marketing, is reach, right? We're a Fortune 17 company. We have a broad base on the business, but also the customers that we need to talk to. And so while we can personalize some things and we want to be able to get to sort of one-to-one at scale, the reality is we still need to do a lot of broad communication as well, and we need to find ways of using the data to make us smarter about what we're doing. But right now I feel like we're still living in a little bit of old world, a little bit of new world, and we'll have to navigate through that change.
And how painful is that change process? I mean, we're seeing a lot of companies really going under an amazing amount of structural change. How difficult is it to do that change whilst also flying the plane at
right.
30,000 feet?
Yeah, it's challenging, absolutely. I think there are a few things that help us. So we're now in the second year of a 3-year journey to transform the company. And that includes work from an HR point of view in terms of sourcing the talent, training, how do we actually grow people over time and serve them up with the right opportunities to build the skills. There's also partnerships is a big focus for us. So rather than, maybe 20 years ago where a lot of companies were like, we're going to build it from the ground up and figure it out on our own. Now we're looking much more externally to say, like, well, Ocado, what can we learn from them? What do we get if we put these two together? Walgreens, how can we put things together to make the collective whole better for the companies, but more importantly for the customers? In our case, we have 8451, which is our data and analytics arm, and they're helping us a ton. Obviously, the data is what it is, and that's tremendously important. But it's also a different mindset. It's a different culture where they can play sort of an innovator, accelerator role where they're not quite as tied to the day-to-day core and sort of same-store sales and all of that, to be able to take a step back and push us out of our comfort zone.
And how receptive are the business to ideas that sort of come from that team who are exploring, understanding, and making observations of the data from the specific to the general?
Yeah, so the good thing we have is customer first has been in our core, which inherently today means data first as well. And so when we come with data, I've actually found it to not be a hard conversation on change, because we can all get aligned in where we want to go, because it's really grounded in the customer and the data and what we know. Or if we don't know and have a hypothesis, we can quickly say, what do we want to go learn, construct a test to do it, and then get the data. Where I think it's harder is at the human level, then click a few levels deeper into the organization where you have people who've been doing similar things for a long time. And I think there's good, people want to learn new ways and want to do new things, but we're all human. And that's kind of a new muscle that you need to build. And we need to think about how we not only give people the tools that they need, which are different than they've been in the past, but we also need to train them and equip them to be able to use them to get their job done. So it's a journey for sure. And I think it's a combination of sort of the established sort of what do we know works and leveraging all of that experience, but then also bringing in fresh perspective and trying to get the two to come together. Because there is a lot of institutional knowledge. And if you think about the needs customers have in the food space, in some ways they're the same as they were when we were founded in 1883. It's just a dramatically different context of how they get met today. So we're just kind of learning as we go every day, as that context around us just continually changes, and we need to get better and faster to actually meet the customer where they are.
Now, finally, Kroger has really been instrumental in some of the partnerships you just talked about. What advice would you give people who are sort of embarking on a transformation strategy and the role that partnerships can play in allowing them to do exactly what you just talked about being much quicker, much more nimble, and meeting a wider, broader spread of customer needs?
Yeah, so 3 things I would say. 1, be customer-centric in all you do. We've talked this a bit with our partnership with Walgreens. It has been such a beautiful partnership off the start because both companies are incredibly customer-driven, which is then like your neutral ground, right? So, each side has what they're trying to do on their business, but if we start really with the customer and the data and what we're trying to solve for the people we want to serve, a lot of other things sort of sort themselves out, and it becomes really productive in a partnership quickly. The other one I think is you got to check your ego at the door, and sometimes
That's hard for retailers.
It is. It's hard for everyone, I think, to just acknowledge, what, someone else might be ahead of us here, and that's okay, where they have a competency that we don't yet have. And be grateful for that and find the partners who you can come in and build a productive relationship with. But, it is, again, it's that human level of just like, be okay someone got there before you, and like, let's work together to create value faster. And then the third would be just be curious, right? Be open to not just what's going on in grocery retail for us, or even in retail more generally, but what's going on in culture, what's going on in technology. I think it's why events like this are great, because you can hear what people are doing on the tech side, on the creative side, in the CPG world, to then figure out what new ideas and solutions might be out there. But I think it first and foremost comes with like picking up your head from your day job and being in touch with what's going on, and just be curious and ask questions and look for a new perspective.
Well, very wise advice. Amanda Rassi from Kroger, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.